we are going to now speak with the sustainability and an analyst for Sprouts. I'm excited to have everybody meet her because she has a really robust program that is very strict with all of the different stores that she has. Thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. And please, Natasha, take it away.
I'm angling my camera appropriately so you guys cannot see my messy bed. Hi, everyone. My name is Natasha Tofil. I work with Sprouts Farmers Market, and I probably know quite a few of you, either by name or by telephonic or email interaction. I've been with Sprouts Farmers Market for about 9 years and held a few different positions in the company. One of my personal passion projects is our personal passions. I'm nervous with so many attendees. I'm happy to see it. One of my personal passions is changing the way the world thinks about waste. So it felt appropriate that I get involved with Sprouts sustainability initiatives. We are very passionate about our commitments to the planet, and we've developed a somewhat robust program around food rescue. I loved, being able to be kind of a fly on the wall in terms of your last conversation around, some of the pitfalls that you guys are going to be experiencing when it comes down to SB 1383 and those compliance factors. It's something that I think about personally quite often, and how we can kind of improve what we're doing and help improve what the food banks have capacity to do, especially given our business model. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar, but it seems like a lot of you are in the Los Angeles or greater Los Angeles area. And I feel like you probably have a pretty friendly, if not personal, knowledge of Sprouts. But I'm going to share just a few brief slides to show you how we've incentivized our team members to kind of take food rescue, to someone's point earlier, to kind of take food rescue to a more important level of importance in our stores. So really, when we're, just a brief overview of who we are and what we do. According to us, we are one of the nation's fastest growing retailers. We currently now have about, as we move halfway into or almost all the way through 2021, we have about 380 stores operating in 23 states. We opened 22 new stores in 2020 along with 2021 as we kind of modified our business model a little bit and our store footprint to be able to move and navigate into smaller spaces. One of our new CEO, Jackson Sinclair's personal passions is really helping to eliminate food deserts across the country. And so that's why we're kind of modifying our footprint to make our stores a little bit more compact, a little bit smaller, but then we get to navigate in smaller, more urbanized spaces. For example, on the docket for 2022, we're proud to announce that we're opening up another location in Philadelphia. And so our goal over the next few years is really to target areas where there may not be, a lot of grocery retailers in those spaces. And in some markets, definitely areas that would be considered food deserts. We are committed to, one of the reasons why I love working for Sprouts is because we are committed to eliminating food waste and also just eliminating waste in general. We've made a commitment to achieve zero waste by 2025. And, in terms of food donation, you can see here, since we've really kicked off, we've had food rescue to some capacity or another in place since 2014. But once we really didn't start tracking data or have the capacity to, a challenge from the corporate perspective is always developing ROI. So it's great to talk about sustainability. It's great to be about sustainability, and food rescue encompasses that. But the challenge is that we're still a business in the business of making money. And so how do we kind of show our stakeholders and the people that we're responsible to that not only are we doing the right thing by the environment, not only are we doing the right thing in terms of helping our communities, but we're also in turn helping to improve our company's bottom line. So you can see here over, and it may be a little tiny on your screen, but we're on track by the end of 2022 to almost double the amount of donations that we've processed through our stores since we started tracking data in 2016. And I'm so sorry. I am very, very sick right now. So I apologize in advance. We're definitely on the road to zero waste. I'm sure that some of these metrics are really what's some things that you guys are already aware of. But really what it comes down to us is getting that 23% of total landfill waste out of the landfill, whether that's through composting, digestion, animal feed. Obviously, our first hierarchy is food rescue. But on top of that, we're really just focused on also eliminating food waste. We really just want to, along with my personal mission statement, change the way the world feels about waste and kind of develop these accountability metrics, not just with our team members in our store, but we want to kind of resonate that out to the rest of the world through our customers and kind of let them know that, it takes each and every one of us to be accountable for how we're processing waste. Obviously, most importantly at a corporate level, but then there's even things we can do on an individual basis that will help us improve the circularity of how things are traveling through our landfills. In 2020, we rescued around 27 million pounds of food. I think getting back to the food rescue conversation, one thing that we're working with a collaborative org called they just changed their name, PCFW, which is the Pacific Coast Collaborative on Food Waste. It's in conjunction with the World Wildlife Fund, along with Refed and WRAP, which is from the UK. They've done some amazing things in terms of shifting policy. I think one of the biggest challenges we run into from a retail perspective is legal compliance. And knowing in our brains and our hearts that a lot of the food that is going to waste currently is just going to waste because it's gone past that 2-day code date. That is definitely understandable in some categories of products from a safety perspective. But not all products are really subject to being, safe to consume simply 2 days past their best buy or code date. It was a big coup for us in 2021. We were finally able to get our legal department to sign off on donating of meat products, prepackaged chicken and, beef, that we could then freeze and donate, which, from their perspective for the longest time was a liability issue, in terms of, someone getting sick from eating our products, especially those with our name on it, which, understandably from a corporate perspective, that would be a natural concern. But really now getting down to the brass tacks of how we've incentivized our stores and why, when circling back to, the greater issue of SB 1383 and how, food banks are impacting retailers and retailers are impacting food banks and what this looks like in the long term, reporting is such a key for us. We actually partnered with Waste Management to develop the scorecards you see on the screen for all of our stores. And we did some data analysis and really kind of isolated the 4 streams of waste that were potentially ending up in our landfill, in our compactors, and not being diverted to either be recycled or donated through our food rescue program. And for us, given our unique business model, which is really produce centric, with produce and very perishable product being the central location in our store, food rescue produce donations are really just their own category in and of themselves. But really the main drivers for us are around cardboard, food rescue, non-produce items, and then obviously food rescue produce items, along with food waste recycling. Basically what this scorecard is telling our stores is that of all the trash that you're throwing away, we are confident that about 65% of what you could throw into your compactor could actually be diverted to another either recycling or donation program. And so, for example, you can see here, Store 263 is one of our top performing stores in this particular region. They are consistently hitting above our 2021 landfill target, which is 65%. They're very passionate and committed to, diverting from landfill. And so we are grateful for them as a store and use them often as an example of what else is accomplishable. And so what we do is we look through this scorecard, for example. We see that we have some really top performing stores that are kind of operating above that threshold or goal of 65%. And then we have some challenging stores that really could use some help. And that's really tend to be where we focus our efforts as a team, a mighty team of two. And so one thing we share with the stores, and I'll share here because I know some of our food bank partners are on the line, is we don't know there's an issue unless someone communicates to us. There are literally 2.5. We have an intern that helps us out part-time. 2.5 team members for our entire sustainability team. We manage not just our food rescue program, but also our diversion efforts, sustainable packaging, you name it, anything related to sustainability. Our department, which is again a team of 2, manages across the country, not just in the California area. And I'm sure that I'm not the only corporate or retailer that will kind of tell you the same thing, in that our teams are small but mighty. But I think communication and reporting are really keys for us when it comes to not just compliance with SB 1383, but also, for example, right now in these scorecards, we're dealing with data that's 2 months behind, because by the time we can aggregate all that data and collect it together, for example, the scorecard that just went out to our stores was July and August data, even though we're now in October. And so really maybe collaborating and seeing how through the PCC, through conversations like this, how we can improve reporting metrics will only help us help our stores improve. For example, we kind of then do a deep dive on the second page of our scorecard. And we look to see, for example, with 263, they're doing a great job. They're hitting all of their metrics. At the top of this little bar chart is our kind of target goals for each of the different streams of waste. And so you can see for food donations, both produce and non-produce, the total amount that we expect to be diverted from landfill is about 20%, with another 10% falling to food waste, recycling, composting, we lovingly refer to it, anaerobic or aerobic digestion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so what we try to do is, as you can see here, a few of the stores on this particular region, 432 and 434, it looks like they're really struggling. It might be that they're throwing away valuable produce that we feel like could be donated. And so we would go through and do some coaching with those particular stores to kind of let them know, that there is more potential for them to donate valuable produce, which is another thing we try to stress to our stores is really, letting them know what an impact this produce does have on our local communities, because it's not something that every single retailer has the capacity to donate on a particular cadence. Due to the perishable nature of our product, and this goes back to some of the earlier conversations I heard, is we really struggle to ensure that we're getting at minimum 5-day-a-week pickup at our stores, because of the fact that we do have so much produce to donate on a regular cadence. And that obviously we know is highly perishable as compared to some of the other categories of product that are being donated. Again, this is just a historical overview of how this store is performing since we really started recording this data. This is a relatively new program for us. We didn't start rolling out these scorecards until August, September of 2019. And so we're really just getting we finally, about 2 years in, we're finally seeing this have a positive impact on our stores. When you're dealing with whether it be 100 stores in one state or 300 to 400 stores across the country, it really takes time, given the natural retail turnover of around 60% every 6 months, to get some of these practices really instilled in the culture. And then on top of that, we had a big, wrench thrown in our great sustainability plans with COVID happening. Obviously, naturally the priorities of our store shifted to one, feeding people in general in terms of sales, and then just dealing with staffing issues because of COVID and this great pandemic we've all been experiencing. And I know it was a challenge for a lot of our food bank partners, and still is challenging in terms of getting volunteers to commit, and also having sufficient staff to pick up donations on a regular cadence. This, in addition to that, is just some best practices we share every month with our stores, in terms of trying to kind of continuously drive home the point, of, that this is a priority for our stores. And so I guess that's one of the things, circling back to SB 1383, I think from Sprout's perspective, this is why we adopted a collaborative model in terms of how we're operating our food rescue program. We work with both Feeding America and non-Feeding America agencies, independent agencies, as we call them, just because we recognize that no matter how big or how small, there always is sometimes challenges having staff or assigning partnerships. And especially when we're talking about the Los Angeles area, it's so broad and wide, all of California, really. And so it's important, given the perishable nature of our product, that we do get these partnerships, both with Feeding America agencies and non-Feeding America agencies, to come together to really make our programs work and make sure that our stores are able to maximize the amount of donations they are getting out into the stores. Anybody have any comments, questions, feedback, winning lottery numbers? I'll take them.
If you guys have any questions, please enter them into the Q&A. And yeah, thank you for such a great presentation today, and just such a great program that is working so well. So I hope that you can stick around, and you'll have your own table if somebody wants to visit you in the breakout table with any further questions. So
Yep, I'm here.
yeah. So without any, is there one question popping up? Okay, someone is asking, what is the digester program? And then also someone's asking, can we send this presentation? If you'd like to send the presentation to me afterwards, I can forward it to everybody that attended today.
Okay, so the digestion program is really for areas of the country where composting is not widely available. And so rather than not being able to divert any food waste, we work with a company called Bio High Tech, and they install seed to, I forget what their larger units are called, but they install seed units in our stores that help us divert at least some of our food waste through anaerobic digestion. Essentially, these amoeba or bacteria microbes operate safely within like a washing machine unit, and they kind of digest the food down to a liquid level, and then that's just processed through the sewer system, wastewater, essentially. But it does have its limitations in the type of food products that can be processed through this. For example, we couldn't shove a whole watermelon or a whole pumpkin in there, but it's at least helping us divert some food waste rather than nothing at all.
And we have one question from Michelle. What's the best way to do outreach to our local grocery stores? How do we contact people like you?
Well, you can reach me at foodrescue@sprouts.com. I help to monitor that inbox. But we would love to, if you already a partner with our food bank, with one of our stores, or looking to partner with one of our stores, reach out to foodrescue@sprouts.com. We're always trying to engage, jump in with our stores and do quick 10 minutes at their huddles, kind of telling emotive stories that really get the team members engaged and help them understand how they're impacting their local communities. I hope that's the answer you were looking for.
Okay, so any more questions? We're going to have people try and join Natasha's table for the breakout. And thank you, Natasha. Right now, we're just going to take a really quick break before we move on to a presentation by Amy Hammis from Burbank Recycle Center. And thank you, Natasha.
Thank you, Allison.